Hey besties and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be talking about some more K-pop opinions, but shorter since I don't have that many. Please remember that this is just my opinion. Now, let's get started with the video. Now this of course doesn't go for everybody, but I have noticed that there are a lot of K-pop stans I've seen that misuse the term and only use it to either talk shit about male idols they don't like or bring down other women in K-pop. It's so annoying because although I'm not that crazy about men myself, I don't like it when fans act like being a feminist is only about hating men, when it's more about empowering women and having equal rights. Although I know that just because you're a girl's girl, you don't always have to like or have nice opinions about every girl, but for y'all to say you're an avid feminist but will hate on Blackpink for wearing revealing outfits or hate on a girl group that's more successful than a group that you stan, it's just pathetic and hypocritical. You don't have to like every girl to be a feminist, but to tear them down out of jealousy or because they're doing things that you personally wouldn't do is extremely sad and weird. Just don't call yourself a feminist if you don't even know what it means. Although I do think that there are some boy groups out there that don't need rappers like TXT and SHINee, there are a ton of rap-focused boy groups, so this is why I'm focusing more on girl groups. I also noticed that many girl group songs are more vocal-focused as well, but I feel like there's many girl groups where I've seen them having a rapper that isn't needed. Now I'm not saying that the member isn't needed, but the rapping either does nothing or even ruins the song. One group that usually comes to mind is TWICE. Don't get me wrong, that rap and likey and cheer up kinda ate, but the rest are either forgettable or almost true in the song like and I Can't Stop Me. I think that they should either do more of that rap singing or the talk shout type of rapping like they did in Fancy. Not every song needs a rap verse, especially if you're a vocal-based group like Red Velvet, even though Dum Dum and Ice Cream Cake devoured. I'm not saying that each time a rap verse comes on in a girl group song is bad because CLC exists. Well used to, and Blackpink has some great ones, but it's not always needed and I think many groups could improve once companies realize this. I know I can't be the only one who feels this way, because I think it's pretty clear that JYP doesn't know how to give their groups an actual identity. I think there's a big difference between concept and identity because although TXT changes their concept every comeback, they still have an overall identity about them. Another example would be FX, because although they change their concept and sound literally every comeback, they still had an identity that you could tell apart from other groups. I'm not saying that groups like TWICE, itzy, and NMIXX need to have a unique identity that's completely different from other groups, but just something that identifies them strongly. I do think that TWICE had a great identity in the beginning up until More and More era, which still wasn't bad because they had alcohol-free and scientist, but now, it doesn't even feel like experimenting, it feels like they're lost in concept. I think it's way worse with itzy though because they changed their identity way too quickly. Like they were only in their first year of being a group then started constantly changing. I think change is a good thing, but it happened too fast for them and it just felt kind of forced unlike TWICE whose happened naturally. They could have changed up the self-love lyrics and sound, but it was all over the place and was too early for them to experiment with styles that didn't full fit them. I know I've talked about itzy's identity problem before, but it's just so frustrating seeing how much potential they have and that JYP just had rushed things. I do think itzy is slowly coming back on track, but I hope that TWICE starts to find a better suited identity for them. Of course this doesn't apply to every idol that's a soloist or has made a solo debut, but I feel like a lot of people talk about these certain idols need to have a solo, when I just can't see it. Now if it's a solo project then that's fine, but them being a whole ass soloist isn't meant for every idol. For example, with Seulgi's debut I know she could definitely be a successful soloist along with Jihyo and Naeon from TWICE. And even though I didn't like Taeyoung's debut, he could still be a great soloist. When it's idols like Chewie, Jisoo, or half of the members from aespa don't have the solo potential. Honestly, that's not even a bad thing because if anything, it takes a lot of not only skill, but talent as well to be a soloist because you need captivate the audience by yourself and all eyes are only on you. It doesn't make them a bad idol. It just means that not everyone need to have a solo career if even they can sing or rap well. Just because some members in a group had a solo debut, that doesn't mean everyone else needs one, especially if they aren't fit for it. When I was still in my early K-pop stan era, I used to think that it was weird for fans to bring a lightstick to a concert when that's not even the group's lightstick, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized that it's literally not a big deal, honestly. I think that even if that group does have an official lightstick of their own, you don't have to use only theirs and can bring whichever one you want. It's not shady or disrespectful to me. I just see it as people wanting to join in on the whole lightstick thing if they don't have one, and what if they just didn't have enough money to also buy their lightstick? Or maybe some people just don't like how that group's lightstick looks. If the group doesn't find it disrespectful, then why should you? Someone literally brought a Twice lightstick to an aespa concert and the girls not only didn't care, but they were doing Twice dances and lightly joking about it. Not everyone has money to buy merchandise for every group they stan, so it shouldn't bother you when they just bring a different lightstick to show support. Even though there are some interesting ones like that rookie JYP throwback collab late last year, or when some female idols from different groups like Mini, Isa, Ryujin and Chaeyoung were performing Fiction in late 2021, but other than that, there's not any interesting collab stages I've seen in recent years. I saw some collab stages from the second gen era, and were some of them random as hell and a bit weird, maybe, but they were so entertaining and I liked the songs they performed too. Like they had a stage where the youngest of different groups were performing Circus by Britney Spears, even with the iconic performance where Twice, Red Velvet, and IOI performed Into the New World was simple yet amazing. I just need more collaboration performances that don't feel forced or half-assed, something that I can actually enjoy and remember. Although it has been and always will be fuck BBC, I do think that having all of the members do solos was kinda genius and really helped new fans to know not only who they are, but also their voices. Even though I think this could benefit smaller groups too, such as that new group Kiss of Life with Natty's Sugarcoat and how much attention it gave them. But I definitely think it'll benefit bigger groups with more than 7 members. I think just doing one solo project would be really cool, and although I said previously that not every idol needs to go solo, I do think a solo project or smaller units to know the group better would be helpful and give more attention to the groups. I honestly feel like even though the 4th gen gave us some of the best title tracks, performers and overall great moments, the 3rd generation was the last best generation. I don't know if I would say that it was the best generation overall, because 2nd gen has some of the most talented idols ever and were releasing the best music of the century, but 3rd gen is definitely 2nd best at least. I feel like that generation were so well rounded with the talent and music. Like each time was hit after hit and not one year was ever boring. They also have some of best and most iconic groups while also experimenting a lot and breaking boundaries. I don't think 4th gen is bad at all, because I stan a lot of groups that debuted around that time, but 3rd gen was K-pop in its prime. Before y'all say anything, I don't think all of their solos were bad, but most of them besides Jennie's felt so rushed and half-assed to me. I think YG heard people complaining and asking for the other girls to have a solo right after Jennie, which makes sense, but I think the company heard that and just gave them a couple songs and wiped their hands clean of it so they wouldn't hear anything. Even though it took 3 years for another member to have a solo after Jennie and they all took a while, it still felt rushed, and though they could have been working on these solos for months or even years, although each solo was fitting for each member in terms of general sound and concept, the actual songs themselves mostly felt so empty and lacking of something else, like it always felt like there was a piece or component missing, especially Jisoo's, because I feel like they did her so dirty with that empty ass chorus and a song that went nowhere. Lisa's title track was pretty good and I started to like it over time, and Rose's Gone was good, but On the Ground was kind of really bad. This has nothing to do with the girls, but I just don't understand how a group that's so popular, successful and are available to so many great resources in the music industry releases songs that feel like they were completed in a day. I just hope that if they have solo comebacks, they'll be better and experiment with more sounds that show their potential way more than what they were given. And that's the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed. Please like and subscribe if you'd want, and have a good day. Bye besties.